Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm creating a Christmas card coloring one of the Christmas digital stamps from Rachelle Anne Miller. Now today it's time to color the A Special Gift, which is this adorable image of this little girl that is grabbing her gift, I think, for unwrapping. Or she is going to grab it to give it to someone else, I don't know, but I love her. She's really cute. I printed this image onto Transotype perfect coloring paper and I'm doing some Copic coloring today. Now I'm starting with the hair being one of the hardest parts of every image that is a person, in my opinion. And what I'm just doing is I'm flicking from the center of the hair towards, well, the outer edges and then from the outer edges towards the center. But every time I take another marker, a lighter one, I am flicking further into the hair. Also, I'm starting every time from the same starting point, flicking from the same position, doing a second layer here, which I like doing when I'm Copic coloring onto this paper. I think it helps with the blend. In this case, the hair there is not necessarily a blend. Also, I'm not necessarily trying to color every white piece of the hair. These can be highlights. If you can flick and there are still some white spaces, those can be highlights in the hair itself. And I don't necessarily think you need to fill those up. Now onto the second hardest part for me, coloring images or people, is the skin. Most of the time it is a necessity for me to have more than 2 layers even. Don't know why necessarily, but well, that's why I start on these parts first, just in case I fail. It can always be. Then I didn't do all the effort of coloring every single part of the image and then failing in the end. So I'm doing what I'm most uncomfortable with and then I continue with the rest. Now here I am coloring those clothes. I love that it's a stripe thing. I first thought of doing red and green stripes, but then I thought, well, there will be a lot of red and greens already, just do red and sort of white. Going to use slightly gray marker, well, a really light one. But for the rest I'm just filling it up, going with my red combination that I will reuse later on as well. Taking my time because these are small strips and I don't want to go outside those lines. And there are so many ways to color this image in. I think I will have a lot of fun when Christmas is near and I need some more cards. It's really handy, these digital stamps, that you can just print it. I always save the documents that I'm printing. I place all of the digital stamps on my Word document. Nothing fancy. I don't have apps or anything to help me with that currently, but Word or any other just file will probably work. I save them and I can just reprint this, and I know that the layout that I will do later on will match, and if I want to I can recreate this. I personally don't like recreating, I told it in the past, but if I would just try other color combinations. And well, sometimes when you're in a rush or you realize that you don't have enough Christmas cards, and I can already feel that that will be the case this year, then it's handy to have a design that you really like, that might be really quick to execute, and just that you don't need to worry about the layout because you already know that it works. So for that I think it's handy just to save the documents or whatever you are doing the layout of your digital stamps on, and just have it prepped if you want to remake a card similar to what you already did. So here again, as you saw, the same green combination as in the accessories is on the package. I'm doing a second layer here. I first tried to avoid those dots on the package. Then I realized that it was harder than I thought, and then I just didn't bother anymore. I was going to use a white jelly roll pen if needed, and if you want to, you can also use your colorless blender, but having these tiny dots, I already experienced with this in the past, that I think it's easier to use a white jelly roll pen in this case, but you can use whatever you want, of course. I also contemplated about adding red to those dots, but then the bow was already going to be red, and well, I just skipped that idea. So I'm already on the final part of this image, being the bow and the wrapping. Well, handy about this and reusing colors, of course, is that you don't need to fiddle with colors that can go together. Although I think that just using these colors on the accessories would go perfectly, and then have the package another color. Of course, anything is possible. But well, reusing, reusing, reusing. I think it's handy, truly. And this bow is quite dark. It ended up quite dark. I was trying to keep in mind shadowing, but it is really hard with all the sides of the bow and all those things. So I will later on add some glossy accents all over it, and I really like that effect. So adding a bit of grounding using a really soft gray marker. I'm not really comfortable, you know me, I like ink blending if I need to create a background. Even this tiny shadow is out of my comfort. I'm never sure whether it's good enough or whether I should add more or add less. But I was going to make a cascade, which is also the card that I tend to go for. This image will be a focal image, and then I will have my sentiments and just a bit of pattern paper that matches with my colors here. But there is a grounding. That's the most important thing. What you can also do is mask off the bottom half of this image and just add some purple tape and do a bit of ink blending on the bottom. But I didn't print this image onto masking paper, so well, didn't want to print anymore at this stage. Then I brought in this gift wrap paper pad from My Favorite Things, and I searched for the green that matched with the package. I also contemplated about using reds, but then with having the pajama and the bow being red, I thought that it was already present enough, and I was going to add the red to the Mary. So having green pattern paper, red sentiment, I thought happy life. Adding the pattern paper to my card base already using some adhesive roller. Gonna trim off the excess. And then we can continue with the sentiment. Now for the sentiment, I have this Mary. I cut it out using just white paper, as you can see here, and then I decided to cut it out again, but I wanted it to match with the reds of my image, so I decided to take that Copic marker and just scribble it on top of my paper, make sure that it was enough for the word, and once I had this covered, I could just cut it out again and then adhere on top of each other. Doubling it up, this way I have a bit of dimension. It's still a simple card, but also I love this script from the Mary. It's the Mary script from Mama Elephant. I also decided to go over it again with my red marker because it was quite dull. And once I was happy with that, well, I still needed a Christmas, the word Christmas. So I went through my stamps and I came across the Bitty Holiday Wishes for my favorite things. These are really handy stamp sets full of sentiments. You have the Bitty Holiday Wishes, the Bitty Birthday Wishes I think as well, the Bitty Basic. I love them. I love the script. It's simple, it's crisp. I just covered Merry. I stamped out Christmas because I already had Merry with the scripty word. Just did that, and then I could adhere everything together using some Scotch 3M foam tape to add some dimension to this panel. I'm going to lift it up a bit, covering the back completely. You don't need to do that. I tend to do it as much as possible just to avoid it being bulked and creased in mail. So if I can, I just put it everywhere. And then I'm trying to center it, taking my time, and then press it down. Now I can add the Merry, just using some liquid glue. And I think with the image being centered and then the Christmas center, it's just a lovely layout, I think. So now to finish everything off, I'm using some glossy accents. I'm going to add it to all the red items. Well, not everything, not the pajama. Just the Merry, the bow, also the berries in the hair. I could also have added it to the candy, but I didn't do that. I think it would be lovely, but, well, didn't do that, as I said. I'm also removing some of the excess if I went outside the Merry, then I'm just taking that away using my craft knife. And I know, so this craft knife has been MIA. I used it on this card while I'm doing the voiceover, I remember. But I cannot find it in my craft room currently. So, the mystery continues. I suppose that I will find it really quickly, but from time to time you lose things, and then when I'm editing and stuff, I see that I used it on a certain card, and I'm like, interesting. So again, making sure that the glossy accents is wherever I want it to be and not on other places. So once I'm happy with the glossy accents, this card is completely finished. You can add many more items if you want to, but I tend to keep it as simple as possible. So that is it. This is my Christmas card for today using the A Special Gift digital stamp from Rachelle Anne Miller. I hope that you like this card, and of course that you enjoyed this video. If you did, you can always give it a thumbs up. I would truly appreciate it. I want to thank you all for stopping by, and I wish you a fabulous day. See you soon. Bye!